Hello everybody, this is Jeffrey GT7 and welcome to the episode. Hopefully you guys are having a great Tuesday so far. In this particular episode I'm going to be covering a new swap build using the GR Corolla Morizo edition at Expressway 600. So in this episode I'll have a step-by-step process on how to get the car, the swap. I'll be going how to buy a swap or how to redeem a swap in your garage. I'll be also showcasing the livery I have for this race. I'll be able to share that on how to get it. That way you can, if you want to copycat the parts I have, it'll make it a bit easier. And after we get all the parts together, I'll also share the build, and of course you guys will be able to see the race, see what this car is capable of doing. And trust me, this car is very quick. So just in case if this particular build does not help you out at Tokyo Expressway, I would really recommend just save the car and use it for Le Mans, because that car has really good top speed. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the episode. Alright, so for the first part of the build, we're going to go ahead to Brand Central and get this car. After you click on Brand Central, it's going to be Asia Pacific. Click on Toyota. After you wait the menus to load up, click on Showroom. It's going to be a little bit further back in the pack. It's going to be this right here. So it's going to be between the 2019 and 2020 Supra RZ. That's where you're going to find it. So here are the overall stats. 522 pp, 299 horsepower, 255 pounds of torque, 86 pounds turbocharger aspiration, and that's pretty much the stock build for this car. Now you could technically upgrade this car from the ground up, which I don't think I've actually done this before. I mean, if I have done this before, it's been quite a while, but it is possible to upgrade this car up to 600 level without having to do a swap. So that is how you get the car at Brand Central. Alright, so after we get the car, we're going to go ahead now to GT Auto and check out the engine swap. So for this particular build, we're going to ignore the wide body, so there's no need to add one for this episode. We're going to be more focused on the engine swap. Now, in order for you to quote buy an engine swap, and let me also add this too, if you're not level 50 in the game yet, you'll not be able to interact with this option right here. Just want to go ahead and throw that out there. You have to be, of course, level 50, which is this right up here, to be able to purchase swaps, and also that will give you the powers to purchase certain ultimate parts for the car as well in the tuning shop. Depending on what the car is, you could get the ultimate turbocharger, the stage 5 weight reductions, just depending on what car you currently have on hand. So back down to the engine swap, just to be sure not to get confused on what engine we'll be using for this episode and for that nature, the 2JC GTE Supra, this is the old swap. Okay, this is I think the swap actually came to this car probably well over a year ago, I believe. The swap we'll be using that was recently dropped is the Demon Challenger, and you can just see it's no contest on the stats. I mean, this one a little bit of a minor buff, while the Demon Challenger is pretty much a major buff. Matter of fact, it's so good that we'll have to actually nerf the car since it's over the 600 put cut line. But the stats, we do gain a bit of weight. That's probably the only negative thing about this swap, but you can just see the horsepower. It just major increase on the power, major increase on the max torque, and for the weight and power ratio, it drops to 1.8. So basically, if you decide to go full bore and want to do a Le Mans build, then that's a very easy method to do. Now, let's say if you're not yet level 50 and you're like, well, Jeff, is there a certain way for us to actually get this swap even though we can't buy it? Because I did mention that you can possibly get one at your garage, and the answer is yes. So I'll show you guys in a second on how that is possible. So for the next part, we're going to be discussing the alternate route of getting the swap. So just go to your tuning parts, and right here it's going to be where your engines are going to be at. Now, unfortunately for me, I do not have that particular Demon Challenger engine because that's probably one of the more newer engines that's available in the game. So just to quickly show you on how this works, let's just say for instance you have maybe a engine ticket like this right here. I'll go ahead and collect mine and go ahead and redeem it. So later in the game, you'll find yourself in this scenario. You got at least 5 different engines on pallets, and you really won't know what engine you're going to get unless it lands right there. So for this particular engine, we just want ourselves a 458 Italia engine swap for this car, or for a car, which is pretty nice. And that particular engine will be added into my tuning parts. So that's where you find your engine swaps when you collect them in the game. So as I mentioned before, we don't have that engine, so what you're going to look out for is 2 things. One is a lit up taskbar. So think of possibly this color, but maybe a little bit like a shade or 2 darker. And the other thing I'm going to look out for is on the top right corner where my cursor is swaying back and forth. There should be the word compatible. If you see that, you're going to select it by pressing X or circle, whichever button it is that you select your stuff, more likely X. And you're going to ignore this paragraph and you're going to click install. Now for this particular engine swap, it is of course locked, so we can't install it. But let's say if it did work, this button right here will be highlighted. You'll install it. It'll ask you one last time if you want to go ahead and do this motion. Say yes, and once you do that, you'll get yourself a free engine swap into the car without having to use how many credits it takes, and without having to be level 50. Here we are at the tuning shop. In this particular part, I'll show you guys what kind of parts you need from the car. Now I'm going to go ahead and mention that there are a couple of parts I went ahead and bought and installed on the car, but I will make sure and share with you what kind of parts you need for the car. So I'll start off with the sports category. It's pretty simple and pretty obvious. It's going to be the sport hard tires. Club sports, obviously, easily, it's going to be the power restrictor and ballast. Semi racing is going to be the low end torque supercharger. This is the one that you'll be using for this build. Fully customized LSD with increased vibrancy. For racing, you'll need racing intercooler, racing air filter, racing clutch and flywheel, torque filtering center differential, and fully customized racing transmission. And just in case if you want to have this certain angle adapter, give you a little bit more control to control your drifts with this car, I would recommend buying that as well. The last thing I'm going to discuss before we get to the build is going to be, of course, the livery and the parts from the livery itself. Now, if you do not want the livery, that's totally fine. It's up to you, but I'll go ahead and share with you guys the full works. So, as you guys, if you follow me in the game, I actually have this in my newsfeed currently. If you want to follow me in the game, just go to Showcase and just search my name up and just click on my driver helmet profile, and then once you reach my page, just make sure you click the blue bar, which will be at the top of my player profile, and simple as that if you want to follow me in the game. So if you do follow me in the game, I do have the livery in my news feed. Should be the very first thing you see in my activity. There it is right there. And unfortunately, there's not really a keyword search for this particular livery, but I would mention that this particular livery is going to be in the first page of the whole entire livery for this car. So just browse a little bit, and then once you do see it, you can add it to your car. Now, like I mentioned before, if you do not want the livery but you rather have the parts, that's totally fine. That's up to you. Now, I did make one modification for that livery. It's going to be these rims right here. Here are the rims I actually installed for this car. Just make sure it's at the 20-inch with wide width, wide offset, and you're good to go for the wheels. For the custom parts, the front is going to be type B, the side is going to be type A, the rear is going to be type B, and to finish it off, the wing is going to be type B. And just in case if you guys are curious about the roll cage for this particular livery, it does take one. Make sure it's type C, and that's going to be all the parts you need for car customization. So finally, we have reached the very nitty-gritty of the episode. It's going to be the build. So as we take a look, here's of course our new engine swap right here. Demon Challenger tires, of course, sport hard, which I mentioned before, Suspension, stocked. Differential is fully customized. If you want to keep the numbers, this actually is the default setting: 10, 10, 20, 30, and 10, 20. That's the default for the torque of the differential gear. If you want to keep it like that, you can. For the torque factory center differential, which pretty much adjusts your torque from your front and rear, I have it set to 2575. For the aero, the front, I have it set to 69. For the rear, 255. ECU, normal. Ballast, we have it all the way maxed out, and we have it all the way toward the back at 50. The power restrictor at 79. Fully customized racing transmission, set to 400 kilometers right there. That's the look of the line graph. Now, if you want to go ahead and copy the numbers, there they are right there, just in case you want to do that. So I'll keep this like that for a couple seconds, and then we'll continue on with the rest of the build. Alright, so here's a quick look at the rest of the build. Racing intercooler with supercharger low in torque, racing L filter, racing clutch and flywheel, and increased vibration, and that's going to be it for the build. So just a quick summary of how the car does at this particular track. Your car is going to be very, very quick. Might be a little bit on the thirsty side of the engine and for the race. I personally actually did with the pit road at the end of lap 6. So if you would rather want to stretch it to maybe adjust it to map 3 possibly, I would say map 2, but I don't think it's going to help that much. If you want to do map 3, you're more welcome to try it out, see if you can get an extra lap or 2 just by doing that. And also, I had a suggestion to pretty much show a bumper cam for my Hotlap, so I'm going to be doing this for this episode, and pretty much for now on, I'm going to do a bumper cam for my car. That way, if you are watching this in VR or on VR, you'll be able to see basically what's on the screen. So I'll let you guys watch the race, give you my overall review of the car, and then I'll let you guys see the preview of the next episode. Alright, so hopefully that particular build using the Corolla will be a big help to you at Tokyo Expressway. As you guys saw, that car was very quick, might be a little bit on the oversteery loose side, so just be careful with its handling and of course the brakes. And just like before, if that particular build does not help you a lot at that racetrack, then it is given to be a really good car to use at Le Mans. For our next episode, we're going to switch gears and do the GR Yaris for our next build, for its new swap build at Tokyo Expressway, so I'm looking forward for that. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, why not go ahead and leave a like. If you really enjoyed this very thorough setup, step-by-step process of this particular car build combination and like to see my content later down the road, you're more welcome to subscribe channel and turn that bell on for notifications as well. If there is a particular build you'd like for me to try out, you're more welcome to put it down in the comments below if you'd like for me to try one in any of the big main races. Until then, hopefully you guys have a great rest of the day or night where it might be, and I'll see you guys later, and take care.